What's up guys, it's me Alcheon and I have a different type of video for you today. As you may already know, for most artists, October probably means Inktober. What is Inktober? It's a drawing challenge created by Jake Parker 10 years ago in which you have to basically do one drawing every day throughout the entire month of October. The final drawings must be totally made in ink or any other medium that cannot be erased. You can follow the official prompt list provided by Jake Parker for inspiration, or you can create your own. I've done this challenge last year as well. I'll have a link to that video in the description, but this year has been wild for me. Between working 8 hours a day at my real job and social life, it's been pretty difficult at times, and I was limited to 1 to 3 hours a day for each drawing. But I think I babbled long enough and you're all here to see the drawings, so let's get to it. I followed the official prompt list, so the first prompt was ring, and immediately my mind went to the Lord of the Rings, to the moment when Smeagol looked to the One Ring to rule them all. The second prompt was mindless, and I think I had like 3 different ideas for this one, kept erasing the sketches and changing them until I chose this design. I thought the robot head was original, but people kept telling me it looks just like Zenyatta from Overwatch, and I checked it out, and yeah, there goes my originality. By the way, many of these drawings are not original. I had lots of inspiration and references from other artists that I admire. Day number 3 was bait, and I wanted to try one of these drawings where you do the entire background solid black and you draw with the white gel pens. So I did an anglerfish luring its prey. Next we have the word freeze, and I ended up doing this icy dragon, trying to learn how to draw some ice. I probably should have picked another subject since there is another prompt called dragon, but we'll get to that real soon. Number 5 was build. At first I wanted to do a perspective drawing on a building, but I did that last year and I really wanted to give myself an extra challenge, and I decided to try drawing more backgrounds and animals since I don't practice them enough. So I did these lovely sparrows building an X together, or at least I think they're sparrows. Feel free to correct me on that one. Next we have husky. This was another opportunity to draw more animals, so I took the realistic husky dog proportions mixed with cartoonish fur, and this is what I ended up with. This is also a video on my channel and I'll have a link to that in the description. Number 7 was enchanted. In my attempt to draw more backgrounds, I tried to go for a fairy with an enchanted forest background while also trying to use the brush and the ink washes. I don't think I succeeded, but I think it's okay for a first try. For day 8 the word was frail, and I went for a simple feather quill with an ink bottle, but I went heavy on the shading. The 9th prompt was swing, and I drew a couple dancing on swing music. A pretty simple drawing, but it was a fun experience. Number 10 was pattern. I went for a honeycomb pattern, but then I added a few honeybees because the drawing needed a little more interest. Day 11 was about snow, but I wasn't sure how to create the illusion of snow with black inks, so I interpreted this one as Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. Next we have the dragon that I was talking about earlier, also a separate video on my channel. By that point this was my favorite Inktober drawing, with the Chinese dragon and the red background like you usually see in the traditional Japanese paintings. For day 13 I drew an ashtray diving deeper into ink washes and trying to give the effect that the objects are made of transparent glass. Day 14 was overgrown. This was my chance to do a perspective building that I wanted earlier and practice more background plants and ink washes. I went heavy on the textures on the bushes and the tree leaves, and I'm pretty proud of how this one turned out. Prompt number 5 was all about legends. All I could think about was Excalibur, the famous sword in the stone. I was feeling very inspired, and there it is. Number 16 was wild, and I went for more animal drawing for practice, while also adding the tribal on the background to look like a crow mark. For day 17 I had to draw an ornament, so I took like 10 reference photos of dream catchers and compiled them into one. I was expecting this one to be easy, but the thread design was harder than I thought. The word for day 18 was misfit, and I thought of a puzzle that has the incorrect last piece while taking the opportunity to throw my own logo in there. By day 19 I thought I should practice some hand drawing, and while I saw this drawing on the internet, I only took the leather strap, took a photo of my own fist and wrote this. It's important to mention that from this point on, I started to use the ink brush more often because I usually draw only with the fineliners and they don't offer the same line variety. Brushes were always scary for me because you can easily mess up a drawing, but when you pull it off, you can achieve a more organic look to the drawing. This is probably the most important thing I learned during this month. Number 20 was hard to come up with an idea for a thread, so I thought of a ninja silent footsteps and I did this drawing that I think every Naruto fan recognizes. I'm not telling you who it is, I'm waiting for you to guess in the comments. For day 21 we had treasure, and I wanted to try a more contrasting piece, and that's why I did this treasure chest shaded with cross hatching and some solid black palm trees. For the ghost of day 22 I drew a moon rays from Witcher 3, combining cross hatching with ink washes for shading and solid black hair to add contrast. The most ancient thing I know of for day 23 was Egyptian pyramids, and I've always liked their myths about the gods and I wanted to draw one, so I took this opportunity. The prompt for day 22 was dizzy, and I don't know about you, but if I look more than 5 seconds in an optical illusion I get very dizzy. I chose a circular one thinking it would be easier, but let me tell you, this took way longer than I should because I had to make sure everything fitted perfectly to even look decent. Then comes day 25, and what could be more tasty than ice cream? I also went a bit crazy here with the shading, further developing my cross hatching. It kinda bothers me that the glass is not symmetrical, but you win some, you lose some, I guess. Day 26 was about mind darkness. I was looking for inspiration when I found this drawing made by someone 2 years ago on Artemino. And I could have done something different, but I love this drawing so much that I ended up pretty much copying most of it with very minor changes. I'll put a link to the original drawing and artist on the description down below. On day 27 the prompt was coat, and I wanted to practice more brush strokes and hand drawings, so I asked a friend to take a photo of my hands while coating a Hollow Knight figurine, and I ended up drawing my own hands. I'm pretty happy with these, and I think these are the best hands I've ever drawn. On day 28 I drew a roller coaster since the prompt was ride. At this point I was behind with the drawings and I chose this thinking I can nail it pretty quick, but I found myself adding more and more details until I get to the final result. For the word injured on day 29, I remember the very famous digital painting about this cat-like character with many Skyrim references, and I wanted to recreate it in my own style, plus it worked hand in hand with practicing more animal drawings. For day 30 the prompt was catch, and I got like 8 different baseball gloves for reference until I settled on one final design. And finally came day 31 with the word ripe. Since I was behind with the drawings lately and I was focused more on the Inktober, I did not make a Halloween special video on my channel, and I wanted to combine the ripe pumpkins that were my initial idea with something tied to Halloween, so I drew my version of the scarecrow in the darkest of nights with a big red moon to go with the red eyes of the crows, while leaving some negative space to indicate there are other monsters lurking in the dark. And there you have it. Like I said, this Inktober was a wild ride. I feel like I learned a lot about inking, starting from simple cross hatching, then drawing more animals, using ink washes and brush pens. It was definitely fun, and I will do it again next year as well. Let me know if you also attempted Inktober this year. Did you complete it? Did you have fun? I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace!